Of the Educate You podcast being brought to you by My College Draft, where education is the new money. I am Lamont, your host and facilitator, and I am pleased to be, as always, with my brothers, David Davidito Hardman and Dr. Ricky Frierson. What's up, fellas?
What's up?
David said last time I had y'all just in suspension when I introduced y'all the last time. So that was cool. Y'all was cool with that one?
You're not supposed to bring that up. You're just supposed to roll into the podcast, but whatever.
Hey, I'm playing. I'm messing with you. Now everything can be cut out. But nevertheless, we are thankful for you guys to be tuning in with us at the Educate You podcast. We, like always, the things that we discuss with this podcast is we discuss things that impact first gens, underrepresented populations. This episode is going to be phenomenal because it has a historical significance as well as it's very current scenario. It is called survivor's guilt. And before we begin, David, if you don't mind, bro, just open us up what survivor's guilt is, and we'll jump in from there.
So I guess for me, I wanted to pose the question because I would say everybody on here is doing fairly decent in their lives. And there may be some people who were around them growing up who are no longer attached to them anymore. And do you have any guilt or feel any guilt from your growth, maybe being separated from them or not being around the things you grew up around, right? Feel like you should have helped more people along? Just kind of wanted to open up that discussion.
Go ahead, Lamont.
Yeah, I was gonna jump in, man. I was kind of hesitate for a minute because so many things just went through my head for a moment. When you first posed this, bro, like we talked about before, I didn't realize how much of an issue it is for people who make a certain type of I guess status in comparison to people who grew up with them. The old neighborhood is you want everybody to win with you, but you can't take everybody with you everywhere you need to go on your journey because everybody can't fit through the hole. Sometimes the hole is this big and everybody can't fit through that. But I was telling you guys earlier, I kind of had that when I was younger. Like, I'm like, look, man, I want everybody to win, but everybody's work ethic wasn't the same. And so what ended up happening as I was in that trying to be a hero stage, bro, I felt like I was losing myself, bro. I'm trying to overly invest in somebody that wasn't investing in themselves, and now I'm at the point where, it's kind of dwindling. If you're not there, you're going to have to just catch up because I got to get to where I got to get to. But my mindset is for everybody to get in there too. But physically, I got to get in there until other people are ready.
I'll ask the question, I'll answer the question with the question, and then I'll go on my tirade about the question. Does anybody suffer from sufferer's guilt? Because I dang sure don't remember everybody feeling bad for me when I was rubbing two pennies together and I was stressed out and I wasn't making nothing. I dang sure don't know nobody making me feel like you should feel guilty for being poor. You should feel guilty for the struggle. I don't dang sure remember anybody feeling bad for me when I was down and out and dealing with these kids. And I thought Pursuit of Happiness 2 was out starring me and no one told me. I dang sure don't remember anybody saying I should feel guilty about that. So I'm going to do my best Stephen A impression. I'm going to make sure I'm looking at the camera. I'm going to be very, very clear to the audience at home today. No way ever will I feel guilty about my success today. I don't care how you feel about it. No one made me feel bad about when I was down and out. Don't feel bad about where I'm at now. Step up the game. I'm willing to help out and extend a hand out and try to figure out what I can do to get people to come up. But do I feel guilty about where I'm at? No. You know what? I still got loans to pay. Sally Mae still making me pay loans. I still got a mortgage to pay, right? And where I'm at, I'm not done. So where I really want to be at, I might look back here and people be like, oh, you barely was making it then, right? So do I feel bad? Absolutely not. I'll gladly kick my feet up in the sun, going to a vacation. You know why? Because I still got these debts. I still got these three kids. They not going nowhere. no one made me feel bad about that. No one was saying, "Oh, how do you manage it all at that time?" Now that I got something to show for it, it took a long time to get here. But now that I'm doing relatively well, am I supposed to feel bad about that? Absolutely not. No, not over here. So I'm just making that plain and clear for the audience today. Your boy here don't feel bad about none of it.
Oh man. So for me, I have a problem with empathy, right? Because I feel like if you want to change something, get up off your butt and do something about it. There's a lot of obstacles that I had to overcome to get to where I'm at, and I'm not even, like you said, where I want to be. So yeah, I have a really really hard time with this, but I do see a lot of professional athletes and actors and that kind of stuff really struggling with it and taking feel like they got to cover everybody or take everybody with them, or you see artists with the entourage of 50 people and they the one footing the bill and that kind of stuff. So just trying to move forward and shedding people who don't have the same mindset. So, but I have a hard time with empathy because I feel like you should be able to get up and get after whatever you want. So
I will say this: I think where I'm at now and where we're at now, we might have young men who look at us and I just, in fact, I was just on a call yesterday with a young man from South Carolina, and he was calling for some advice, and I was talking to him, and I said, you can't compare where you're at 22 to where I'm at now. And then when someone is like at me, where I'm telling you that you're actually further ahead than I was at that point in life, I think what used to be the gimmick for me or the trap for me was I would be 22 comparing myself to people who were in their 40s and thinking like I'm not there, but I'm not thinking about where they were at 22. Am I exceeding that? So this dude's definitely on pace to exceed me, right? There's a lot of young men that I talk to that's definitely on pace to exceed me, but I think they look and try to compare timestamps like they're equal and they're not. And I think that's a big thing. Now, obviously when you're talking about athletics and entrepreneurs, that's the next level money, right? You're talking about where you have to have like two or three different accountants to double check and triple check your money and taxes and stuff like that. I think where we're at, I get concerned at where people might start trying to judge, like, oh, well, he has this, he has that, he looks like he has all this stuff, and then people kind of water down your message, or you might feel like your message is watered down. And so, do I have concern about do people hear my heart and receive what I'm trying to tell them based on where I'm at? Yeah. But do I feel guilty about where I'm at? Absolutely not. So I'm fine.
Again, you listen to the Educate You podcast being brought to you by My College Draft, where education is the new money. We have Lamont as your facilitator host. Once again, we have David Dito Hardman, and we have Dr. Ricky Frierson. And right now we're talking about survival's guilt. And I was telling you guys earlier, to me, it connects with, to me, like the talented 10th, the boys' whole thing about going back. And it's almost like it almost, he put it in a way, and a lot of people during that period of time put it in a way where you could almost feel guilty for not going back because it was embedded in a fiber, especially because he was an educator and he was teaching them as they were matriculating through their adulthood to success. But now I was listening to you guys talking about the athletes, and I wonder if they feel guilty because what I hear the story a lot where I hear athletes who grow up in the hood and there's a lot of stuff going on around them. And what happens is the environment embraces them so much that they protect them as they are going through their successful journey, whatever athletics that they did. So I wonder if that is a part of I gotta bring them with me because they protected me through those hard times. What y'all think?
And that might be true. I mean, the first athletes I thought about, I know it sounded like you were speaking from a male perspective, but the first athletes I thought about was that King Richard movie with the Serena Williams and Venus Williams, and how those folks in Compton was trying to protect them, and then you had some folks who was trying to bring them down, right? Um, I think when you try to grow, anytime anybody tries to grow and make, a decision is, let's break down the word of decision. A decision, two, decision to cut, right? You cut into two, so you have two paths you can go. And sometimes when you cut something, it's like the rose effect, right? Sometimes you need to prune the rose for it to grow more. And some people might be like, oh, I want to hang on to you, but if you let a rose hang on to too many of its old branches, it can't grow. So I think everybody plays a chapter in folks' life. I mean, the three of us, think about it, we get busy, right? And we have hard times, staying connected. But when we get back together, it's like we didn't miss a beat, right? But it's not like everybody's saying, "Oh, it's just that people are busy," right? And so I think when you're around productive people, you understand the hustle, you understand the grind, you understand that life can be hectic at times as well. Um, when it comes to, do you owe something to a neighborhood? I mean, that's up to each individual, right? But I will say this: you also have the story of people who gave too much back and then they end up being broke because everybody just sucks you dry, right? And so, I think about folks who tell people, like, you guys sometimes tell your family no, you guys sometimes tell your best friends no, you guys sometimes tell people that you're close to no, because the people just constantly suck the money out of you, right? And then you're in a bad situation, because I think survivor's guilt is the effect of when, to take David's question and take it to a different level. I think survivor's guilt is when you end up demising your own vision to try to pay back everybody, right? And then you have nothing left to give to yourself. You don't have nothing to invest back in yourself because you went back and invested in the community, and the community can't do anything to get you to that next level, because that's why you have to make the sacrifices to get out the community, right? To get to that next level. So I don't think you should forget the community. I think you should always try to sow seeds so that the future generation can use inspiration from you. But unequivocally, I have no guilt about where I'm at, right? And one of the things that I realized as I start to become more successful in life is Biggie Smalls had it right. More money, more problems. People don't start. People don't think about the bills you get once you start making more money. And people are like, oh, well, you don't need those bills. No, you play for so long, been playing catch up with not enough. And then when you finally get money, you finally trying to spend to get to where you need to be for your family, right? And so, and then that stuff to maintain it is a lot. I mean, if I told you how much I had to spend in the first 3 days of every single month, it was crazy, right? And so, you know, to give your kids and to give your spouse and your household the necessary treatment. You have a big house, that's a big payment, that's a big maintenance fee. That's a lot of stuff to do. That's the reason why you pay for people to spend extra time on on different things. And so there's a lot, travel, there's a lot of appointments, there's a lot of people pulling your time. So I mean, everybody wants to be successful, but then people don't think about how much of a time drain that is to maintain that success. And so I don't have no survivor guilt whatsoever at all. At all.
So this is a really good segue into the next segment, because when you do make it, what about the ones with the target on their back? Let's talk about Jonathan Majors. Let's talk about Sean Puffy Combs' situation right now. Do they have a target on their back, or is it legitimate? What's going on? What y'all thinking?
Uh, go ahead, David. You can jump in. I'll say something later.
I was going to say that's two different topics.
Thank you. I was going to say
you can't combine them two. That's two different topics. What's happening with Jonathan Major? I feel like it's a classic old school black men in America situation, because from all of the stuff that's been shown and what everybody said, he should not be considered guilty. The man was running like a track star trying to get away from old girl. So there shouldn't be anything there. But now the trial is into 2 weeks and looking at going into 3 weeks. So that's something completely different from the other one.
Yeah, what I've learned in these cases is that when you have a lot of money, though, you can make your lawyers paint a perfect picture for you, no matter what. I mean, I'm not going to dive into too much, but just let's look at Trump's situation. Like when you got enough money, you can do a lot of things and get away with it in the legal system, right? So I'm not going to sit here and say that Jonathan Majors is innocent because I don't know enough, and I really honestly haven't followed it. But we have seen that before, that pattern with especially someone who's on the come up. A similar thing almost happened to Michael B. Jordan as well. So, um, but again, I think David, you said this before. Money, when you start getting money, it just reveals who you are this whole time, right? And when you start having power and access, and you got to think about asking the second half of that question with Diddy, very similar to the R. Kelly situation, right? As far as the abuse, the power, the cover ups, and all this stuff. And it's coming from all angles on him, right? Like you got males, females, all saying the same thing. And so, um, I think when people get power and they start to realize and they can use fear tactics, lawyers to cover up some of their abuse of power, um, you start to realize like some of these people that we see on TV ain't as all peachy and clean. Because you remember he used to call himself Brother Love. That didn't age well, right? So there's like a lot of things that um, you just never know. You know what I'm saying? And so we always have to be careful on where we get inspiration from, and everything that we see on TV is not necessarily reality as well, right? It can be very much scripted. So um, I don't think that has anything to do with being successful. I think that has something to do with letting evil and letting whatever your inner things are overtake you because now you have resources to cover up things, right? So and I think a lot of guys, if we had resources and we were doing stuff out in the streets, you probably would do the same thing, right? And that doesn't mean it's right, but these people have it at such an exorbitant level of resources to make sure NDAs are signed and all this other stuff. I mean, think about it. You go into a relationship, and the first thing after the first date, they don't mind dropping $500 on you because if you want that, Ruth Chris dinner, and you want to go out. Okay, cool. I did that, and I signed this NDA, right? So now I can really act a fool. So I don't know, it's weird. It's weird. I'm not gonna say it's weird. The Diddy situation's sad, quite honestly. That's sad. The Jonathan Major situation, I haven't seen enough of it to speak on it.
Bro, soon as that Cassie thing came out, I was like, this dude done. I ain't gonna lie. I thought he was done. But then they start going back about scenario when there was a young lady who went to Howard at the time that was in a video, and the video getting passed around. They've been
That was
acting.
Aaron Hall, right?
There's another with him too. he,
Uh,
he got included with the high school. The girls at the time was in high school at the time, and I'm like, man, it just amazes me because man, I love the culture so much, and that's what we're talking about. What's happening in the culture? I love the culture so much, bro. And I'm like, we got to be careful of who we lift as idols, man, because it was. I was listening to Miles Monroe say he said he was like about people going up as they ascend to these various heights, but as you go up, people can see underneath you. And he was like, be careful of how you live your life because people can see. The higher you go, the more people can see. And I'm like, man, all this junk is coming out. And now Aaron Hall, we didn't even mention Jamie Foxx. I think Jamie Foxx is on the, y'all hear about that too? Like he's on the, like they coming after him too.
I didn't hear about that one.
Nah, I just know Jamie just came out of a health scare.
Yeah.
I mean, he just received an award at some event here not too long ago. So no, I ain't hearing that about him. But I guess is the other thing, is it too early to start having a conversation about do we separate the person from the music or the art, right? Like I feel like everybody had that conversation with R. Kelly. Now, are we gonna have to have the same conversation here? Do we separate the person from the art and the music and how that affect the culture? Or, I mean, in today's world, cancel culture, just get rid of them altogether.
I don't honestly, in my personal opinion, I don't know what y'all feel about it, but I don't know how to separate. Since we basically grew up with Diddy out there and the lifestyle and all that stuff, so I'm like, man, it's hard for me to separate the music, the lifestyle with who he is, because I don't know, that it's like he embodies all that. The partying, all that was a part of his makeup. And so I don't know how to separate it. Especially, I guess what helps the separation, even discussion a lot of times, is the now that he gave back the publishing to some of those artists not too long ago. Y'all hear about that? He gave back
he probably doing that as a hush tactic. Like, hey, let me just go ahead and give you this money so y'all don't say nothing. I do want to elevate some things though. Hindsight's 2020. The man did name his record company Bad Boy. You know what I'm saying? Like, you start thinking about some of the things that he was saying, and you know, some of those videos that didn't age well for Aaron Hall and what they were saying they were doing, and people were just kind of brushing it off like, oh, these are just groupies or whatever the case may be, right? And you actually taking advantage of some of these women and stuff like that. So, and from Diddy's standpoint, men taking advantage of some men as well, right? And stuff like that. So it don't age well. I think once the Cassie situation came out, that was kind of like the lighthouse beacon for everybody else to be like, bet, you know. And she was slick how she did it, you know, because she got her money and then came out and was like, let me go ahead and tell y'all about this man.
Yeah.
All right. So
as guys who've excelled in higher education, I believe he got like an honorary doctorate from Howard. Would y'all take it away from?
Yes.
Yeah, without a doubt. You would too, David? They took all of Bill Cosby's.
Yeah, if it's an honorary, yeah. I mean, if it's something he earned, then you can't really take that away. But if they just gave it to him, which that's what they did, yeah, take it away.
If I give it, I can take it back.
And since we're talking about the culture, man, we can't not talk about like the sports too, man, because it's been kind of crazy in sports as well with this new mid championship thing. Like I didn't understand that. Did y'all get that? Y'all like it?
I will say as a basketball fan, the level of competition was higher in the middle of the season, and the final felt like it was like a final, like it was like for real, like. And so I do like the fact, because someone who watches basketball quite frequently, this time of the season don't mean nothing. When you have 82 game seasons, no one cares about games 20 through 40. Like that don't mean nothing, right? It's once you get to like February, like right before the Super Bowl, right when you're starting to look at playoff seedings and stuff, that's when the games start mattering. So to put this in, it was a little unique. I still got to understand how the round robin games go, but that final game was dope, number one. And I just want to, like, here's some things that's dope about it. Anytime you tell professional athletes winning team gets $500,000 a piece, they about to play. LeBron got his team $500,000 a piece. Now let me put this in perspective. I'm gonna double check before I say the number, right? And I'm gonna say something real quick. So just give me 1 second. All right, minimum.
Oh, well, while you pulling that up, I have to say something. Like I feel like there was a great marketing scheme for the NBA, because, like you mentioned, this part is very, very dull. A lot of your vet athletes at this part of the season, they're not really playing like that. They're just getting a couple minutes and waiting until the back half to try to make the playoffs, right? But the one thing that, for me, that was whack was the design of them dang on courts. Them courts was whack. It was the same design of everyone, just different colors.
Bro,
that was super whack.
Super whack. And I was like, I don't know. I live, where I stay. And I'm looking at the Nuggets, and I'm like, did anybody talk about colorblind folks? Because these things were so Like
Yeah.
the contrast on the TV was hard to watch. Some like them blue courts and red courts was very hard to watch on. And I was like, they need to talk to somebody about that.
Bro, is that the foreshadowing of what it would look like if they had a franchise in Vegas and would just be over the top? Because that's where it looked like it's
No,
more.
I think that was just something to make sure because the one thing that they did, the reason why they did that design was because when it was an NBA tournament game, the court let you know this is a tournament game and not just a regular season game.
Okay. Okay.
But going back to what Davis making a valid point, them court designs was trash. Some of them seemed pretty cool with the colors and stuff, but that red and that blue and that purple, the way it contrasts on the TV, didn't like that one for the Nuggets. I was like trying to squint just because it was so bright, right? But let me go back to my point now. The league minimum is just above 1 million a year, just above 1.1 million right now. It's the league minimum.
Okay.
So during the NBA in-season tournament, it was the Lakers versus the Pacers. Lakers end up winning it. There was 14.6 seconds left in the game, and the coach for the Lakers put the bench players in. So
Mm.
that means number 12 on the roster, who makes 1.1 million, played 14.6 and made 50% more in his salary for 14 seconds. For 14 seconds,
That's
that
hard.
man got $500,000. 14 seconds. Do you understand what I'm saying to you right now? This man, whoever those players are, I'm sure they're good. They're on the NBA team. The most action they get is warm up lines, dunking, shooting, da da da. 14.6 seconds, bro. No injuries, no rolled ankles. You paid $500,000. That's what's gonna make this in season tournament competitive going on out.
Okay.
When you think about that, bro,
Okay.
you made 500. You made half of your salary in the span of like 3 weeks.
So it's
No,
not the same.
in less than 14 seconds. Forget that.
It's not the same thing. Like if you never get in the game, you don't get paid. You got to be in the game to get paid.
No. Even if they never got in the game, so if they played 0 seconds, they would have got $500,000 because they're on the team.
Yeah.
Jeez.
$500,000, bro.
Jeez. That man. Is that so? Is the championship? Because I didn't get a chance to watch the end of it. Is the championship a legitimate championship, or is it just like it's a smaller trophy in comparison to the end of the year trophy, right?
It ain't the real thing. And I mean, I think anybody like the Lakers, anybody on the Lakers will say that if they didn't win the NBA championship in season, it's good for them to win it because I think they said, like, hey, we're glad that we wanted it because we wanted to be the first in NBA history to get this, especially if it does end up being a big thing in the middle of the season. But everybody's still going for the NBA finals. Like, I think the Nuggets don't give a crap if they don't win it, if they still win the NBA finals again this year, right? Or like the Bucks, like they don't care if they didn't win it. But I think I did like LeBron's comment about why was he so gun ho about the tournament. He's like, well, there's people on the roster who don't make 38 million a year, right? And I'm trying to help them get more money in their pockets, right? So, and I would have been like, thank you, LeBron, $500,000, and all I had to play was 14 seconds, bro.
So that comment, which segues me into, does it legitimize LeBron as the best of all time or just the best of this position?
Now I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say it very clearly. I don't. First of all, I'm gonna look dead in the camera and say, I don't care what y'all say in the comments about what I'm about to say. I don't care if y'all say I'm a hater or whatever. I don't really care because I already told you I don't have survivor's guilt. I'm happy where I'm at. I know me, myself, and I. At the end of the day, when it's all said and done, LeBron James is the greatest player to ever play in the NBA. Michael Jordan is number 2. I don't care what nobody says. You can give me the 6 finals MVPs, da da da. All I want to say with LeBron James is this. Number 1, this man is the NBA all-time scoring champion, like most points scored, number 1. Number 2, he's the only player that has taken every single team he's gone to an NBA championship. He's taken every single organization to an NBA championship.
Yeah.
He's won MVP multiple times. He's won Finals MVP. He just won the in-season tournament. He's 38 and still a top performer in the league. Yeah. When it's all said and done, this man is the best player in NBA. Now y'all can write y'all comments. I promise you, I ain't gonna read them.
Yes, please in the comments. Please.
Not gonna read them at all.
Please discuss in the comments.
Is he the best, David? David.
Is LeBron the best or is Michael Jordan the best? I would have to say, that's a tough one. That's a hard one. That's a hard one. That's a hard one. I always feel like it's a good argument either way it goes. I'll say this: as far as what has happened on the court and over the lifespan of being on the court, LeBron is up there. He is probably number one right now. But I'm not running to the store to cop no LeBron James kicks. I'm still copping Jays. I'm just saying. So there is still some culture stuff that's there and present. So I have to give it to LeBron.
Isn't LeBron, am I correct in LeBron is the only active billionaire playing in the NBA?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Am I correct in that?
Yes.
Am I correct in that LeBron is the only person that has created a school?
Yeah.
Am I correct in that?
Well, your boy Jalen Rose. Jalen. No, Jalen that played at Michigan. He got one in
Jalen
Detroit.
Rose?
Yeah, Jalen Rose. My bad. I thought you said Darryl. Yeah. He got one in Detroit.
All I know is that go back to the beginning. Didn't everybody that was around LeBron, didn't all of them come up?
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you ever heard this man have any kind of scandal? The only negative thing this man had in his NBA career was the decision.
Yeah. Man, it's phenomenal.
You gotta remember, Michael Jordan doing his second three-peat had the rumors of him gambling and the gambling issue.
Yeah.
We ain't seen like LeBron, when you say like on the court and off the court, the dude is a stand-up guy. He's a stand-up dude. And like his production on the court, he's 38 and people still say he's the top dog. He's still out there giving out hardcore minutes. He's still dunking on people. The man is 6'8", 260.
Yeah. So take all that. You think he's gonna get a franchise? Because he's pushing it. Why he wants to be an owner. He wants to
own the Vegas franchise.
Would y'all give it to him?
Well, they're not gonna give it to him while he's playing, but when he gets done playing, they will.
So you got Shaq, and I think he's partnering with or is LeBron partnered with Mayweather? Somebody partnered with Mayweather. Shaq wants one. I think Shaq on his own, but I think LeBron's with Mayweather. But attaching it with Mayweather, would that hurt him or would that help him? Because Mayweather's reputation is totally the opposite of LeBron's. But he does have the money. But do you think the NBA would award him with Mayweather as a partner?
The NBA don't care who the partner is. They care about the money. Do you got the capital to start this business?
Look, he gonna get a franchise at some point. I mean, shucks, Usher and Nelly got one, so there ain't no way that he's not gonna get one. Especially with everything he's done for the NBA. That's gonna happen at some point for sure.
Yeah, he gonna get one.
I'm trying not to. I have sometimes people.
You didn't give your opinion on the subject, Lamar. I need to know. Is it gonna be Jordan or is it gonna be LeBron?
I'm honest with you, bro. If you grow up and y'all the same. Y'all grow up in urban too. All the stuff that happened to these people with these Jordans, bro, I cannot nod him. He never came out to protect nobody. He just kept making money, still making money. People was getting killed over them doggone shoes, bro. So I'm still like, on that alone, I would never give him the nod. Ever give him a nod. Hold on.
Go ahead. Now I made no mistakes. I mean, no confusion to the audience. I'm Team LeBron all day. You can't blame Michael for people off the court stuff that he don't got no control over.
But at least say something though. Like at least like he was in middle Chicago of all places, bro. And at least say something publicly.
Okay, I feel you on that, but at the same time, you gotta remember Michael Jordan grew up in a spot where there was no social media. So LeBron learned how to use that platform as he was coming up, right? But and let me go ahead and add this in too. Who else do you know was a number one overall consensus player in high school and actually flourished to be the number one
Phenomenal.
overall consensus player in the
Phenomenal.
NBA?
That's phenomenal. That's
Right?
phenomenal.
Like Michael Jordan didn't do that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Phenomenal.
He was number like 3 or 4 on the Tar Heels when he was playing as a freshman.
That's true. And I don't think he started when he came to the Bulls either. Somebody was starting in front of him when he
Well,
got there.
I mean, but I'm saying once he got in, when he got on, he had a good team. But man, come on, man.
When he
It took a
got
long
on,
time. It
like
took a
the
long
first
time.
It
6 or 7
took him
years, they
7
was losing.
years, but that's
Yeah.
not his fault. He had a crappy coach that
Everybody was
didn't
on
want to.
cocaine down there on his team. They was doing cocaine like crazy.
All I'm saying is LeBron James is 6'8", 260, bro.
I'm telling you, if it's between those two, I'm rolling with LeBron simply because the dude can morph into different positions. Like he can be the point guard magic one moment. It's like he can morph. And Jordan he only, like it took, like I ain't gonna lie to you, LeBron was the same as far as like his dribbling had to improve. So did Jordan's had to improve as well. Yes, sir. They they
Oh
were
no, I
both
want you to
terribly
finish your
dribbling.
thought. I want you to finish your thought.
Oh yeah, they was both. But I'm saying overall, I'm riding with LeBron, bro. And I hope he watched this podcast. So I want to be invited to stuff. But I'm rolling with. Go ahead.
You gonna make some mess around? I'm about to call this man and make him come on here. But what I'm saying is this: can we also give LeBron credit? This man, some kind of way, held onto his hairline. It was trying to run away, and he put some investment in. Michael Jordan just let his hair go. He's just like shaving it all off. I'm done. LeBron found some kind of way. If that's not greatness, this man was bald in front of everybody and figured out a way to get his hairline back, and he got his waves fresh to death at 38. Because y'all know when he was like 35 to 37, that's look at KD's hair.
I don't understand.
Look at LeBron's hair. LeBron is great on every level. That man went through adversity. His hairline was running away. He called it back. He dipped into that bag of greatness. I mean, y'all better recognize. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I can't say nothing.
It's still crazy, bro.
You remember he used to wear the double headbands because it was running away.
Try to cover it up. He brought it
And
back.
now he don't rock no headband anymore because it's back. He got all his, I'm just saying that's greatness. When you can turn back the hands of time and get your hair to grow back to its original hairline after 20 years in the NBA, all that sweating and rubbing in your hair that you be doing with them rough hands, and you got your hairline to come back. Come on, man.
This is stupid.
I couldn't do that.
And he just won an Emmy. He got his hairline and he got an Emmy. Yeah, I'm like, he's cold. And I watched it was like a highlight of somebody was talking, they was comparing him and Kobe. And he said, they was basically saying that LeBron has never had to play behind nobody his whole career.
Never.
Kobe had to come off the benches, when he first started, whatever. But I'm like, man, I mean, I know there's a whole bunch of people that love Kobe. I love Kobe's work ethic. I ain't gonna lie to you, but I ain't gonna lie. I don't know. Like he was, like I don't know who Kobe is. If it wasn't Jordan before him, I don't know who Kobe is now, because I feel like Kobe was such Jordan. Even when he's doing his interviews, like I don't know who he is. LeBron, he wore number 23. He admired Kobe, but you still see him. Like you don't see Kobe with anything acknowledging Philly outside of conversation. This dude goes back and acknowledge, he's from Akron. He puts Ohio on. I mean, what he done for Ohio is phenomenal. Phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, he brought Cleveland a freaking NBA champion. Cleveland, right? And I'm saying, like, on top of that, you said something that, here's my question to you, because this is what I saw on ESPN. I thought this was a good question. If you're one of the other NBA teams, do you purposely draft Bronny in the hopes that LeBron comes to your team to play with them?
Absolutely.
But that's just a risk, though, right? Because that could be LeBron playing the system to make sure Bronny gets a high draft pick. So then that gives him guaranteed contract money. And LeBron still never go over there. He might want to just play against his son and not be on the same team with him.
He said he wanted to play with him in the NBA. So whether he's on the team or whether he's against him, but still, Bronny got a nice game too as well. So it is what it is on that. But yeah, I would take the risk. What you gonna lose at this point?
Okay.
So I'm hearing the younger son got better game than Bronny. Is that true?
Oh, Bryce.
Yeah, is that his name? I heard he's better
Bryson
than Bronny.
or yeah, something like that. Yeah. I heard he's taller and bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's taller.
I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. I think Brian. I wasn't impressed with his game, dog. Like honestly, I don't know what it was.
Have you watched him in college yet? At USC?
No, not yet. I got to watch him at USC then. Huh? He just started. He's playing now.
Yeah,
a little bit. Yeah, he's getting in.
Okay, I'm gonna start watching, bro. Speaking of father son, let's segue to Dion these Colorado Buffaloes, bro. What are we done talking about him, or are we gonna keep talking about him for the next few years?
You're gonna be talking about him. It's the hottest ticket in football right now, professionally, college, regardless. They talked about them, even with them losing most of their games in the back half of the season. Like that conversation is not going nowhere. It's not going nowhere at all.
Yeah,
it's gonna be
and
boring.
I know people want to hate on him, but in my opinion, the man's ahead of schedule because he lost close games. He should have. Now that Stanford loss was a really bad loss. How you up 29-0 and lose that game, right? Mm-hmm. But he lost close games. He lost a close game to USC. He lost a close games to some teams. I mean, his blowout losses was Oregon. Yeah. But games that they typically were getting blown. Because you got to remember, Colorado was the second worst football program in the nation. In the nation. And in 1 year, that man turned that around that quickly by completely gutting the team. And now, of course, what typically happens with someone like in his position. People starting to transfer out, coaches are leaving, now they want to say stuff. That's going to happen. I think it's going to die down a little bit, but as soon as football season starts back up, it's coming. And I think he's going to have a better team because now all he needs is some big boy D lineman and O lineman. And I think they realize, like, we can get Shine. This dude's legit. And they just need our help to get over the hump. They're going to be, and they come back to the Big 12. So it's going to be interesting to see. You're not playing that Pac-12 schedule, right? You're not playing the Oregon and the Washington no more. You're going to be playing Arizona State, Kansas State, Oklahoma State. So I think they're going to be nice. In my opinion, they're going to be nice. I know living down here, a lot of people on that bandwagon. I think he's brought a lot of. I think they were 1,000% up in revenue. 1,000. Right. I mean, yeah. The spring game alone sold out and made more money than like all the home games combined last year. So I mean, he's got them in the right spot. Hopefully, he can maintain it. Hopefully, he keeps poise on it. But don't be surprised if Colorado State upset them next year because they're gonna be playing at Colorado State. I just put that pin.
I'll say what
they almost got him this year, didn't you?
Oh, it was the best game I ever seen them play.
Man, I actually called y'all. I ain't gonna lie to
you. They came up, but I'll say this: at this point, he's already reconstructed the offensive line. He went and got the number one high school player, and then went and got a bunch of transfers who were like 3, 4, and 5 stars for offensive linemen. So he got a whole new line in front of Shador. So that's going to be a whole different situation this next year. And they keep bringing in more and more skilled, talent players. So it's going to be a different.
So I got 2 questions. Is Shiloh next level talent, and do you bring in competition for Shador?
Well, Shador's going to be a senior, right? So you need to bring in somebody behind, even if he's a junior. Let's say he's a junior. You need to bring somebody in to start getting reps and start getting used to the playbook and stuff like that can play and start, especially when you have those blowout games, or you have those games where you're getting blown out, and you just need that person to have practice under, one squad on the other opposite team. You need that. Um, I don't know about Shiloh. Maybe maybe he has talent on it. I haven't heard people talk about him as much as they talk about Shador and his quarterback skills. So I just think that he's still ahead of schedule. Usually give coaches 3 years to see where they at. I think second year we'll see where they at. I think they'll be growing. And I think they already sold out their home season tickets for next year. So like they're gonna be in a good spot. They're gonna be in a good spot.
I mean, at this point, to your question, I would say yes and yes. Um, Shiloh led the team in tackles for the season, so absolutely. Also, I think he made second team, um, all honor second team, as well as they already bring in other quarterbacks to replace Shador once he leaves. So I would say yes and yes.
I'm going to switch subjects real quick because we're not going to talk about college football and not talk about my Michigan Wolverines being number one in the playoffs, and then they letting this bull junk of Alabama getting in. Like, do you
What
agree
happened to
that
Florida State?
should have been kicked out? Florida State should not have been kicked out in that playoffs.
Yeah,
Like, this
stuff.
would have been the 1 year where there should not have been an SEC team in. Or if you're going to give me that, let Georgia be back in. But having Alabama, like, come on now, Michigan versus Alabama, that's not a fair game. But it is what it is. We'll see what it is. And I think when you have it's the first time in history you have a Power Five undefeated champion not make it to the playoffs.
Yeah.
For Alabama, who barely beat Auburn, who needed a 4th and 31 Hail Mary to beat Auburn, and you're letting them in? Come on now.
You don't think that's going to be a good game?
I think it's going to be a real good game. I don't think it's fair to the Michigan fans because Alabama's going to be Alabama now that they're in playoffs. They're going to be like, hey, we got in some kind of way, so we're going to play. Yeah. Right? But, I mean, Florida State shouldn't have lost because here's my question. Here's my question to people. I'm cool if you're kicking Florida State off regardless of if Georgia would have won. If Georgia would have won and you're still kicking Florida State off, I'm cool with that. If you're telling me if Georgia would have won, you wouldn't have kicked Florida State off, then I'm not cool with
that. Yeah, I don't know how you go undefeated the whole season and you don't get in.
Yeah, I don't get that because you played everybody you could play, right? And I can see, because if Georgia would have won, it would have been Georgia 1, Michigan 2, Washington 3, and then Texas 4. If you kicked out Florida State. Right, and I can see that because Texas had the head-to-head against it. Because that's the other thing that was a problem. Texas won, and Texas beat Alabama in Alabama, and there's no way you can let Alabama in without Texas going in. Right, there's no way.
Okay,
because Texas won the head-to-head.
Everybody's saying Texas shouldn't be in. They're just like basically bought their way in.
How did they buy their way in?
Because that's what they were saying. I think it was. I'm trying to think of who the coach was. They felt like years ago that they felt like they should. I'm trying to think who the coaches. It'll come to me, but felt like they should have been in. But they were saying Texas, of course, got in because they got so much money behind their team, and it was like they were saying instead of Texas, maybe Florida State should have got in instead of Texas.
Bro, you just listen here. You can't put an Alabama in over Texas. Texas beat Alabama at Alabama.
Right.
At Alabama, they got the exact same record, and they played head-to-head. Now, what would have made it crazy was, see, what messed it up is this: Georgia-Oklahoma game was supposed to be played this year at the same time that Alabama and Texas, and the Georgia-Oklahoma game got canceled.
Okay.
And if Georgia would have beat Oklahoma, that would have gave them some standby, some state to stay in. But you can't kick out. I don't care what nobody. You can't kick out because I agree exactly with Coach Norvell at Florida State. So now the schedule don't matter because now you can say, oh, their reasoning for kicking Florida State out was, well, your star quarterback broke his leg, so we don't think y'all gonna be the same team. That ain't for you to decide.
Right.
We play with what we play with. That's like punishing Michigan because if people don't want to say this, and I'm a big Michigan fan, Harbaugh did not coach half the games this season. He was suspended for the first 3, and he was suspended for the last 3.
Wow. Yeah.
That's like saying, oh, well, y'all didn't have y'all coach, so we ain't gonna let y'all in. You play the games you're supposed to play. If you're undefeated, you're undefeated.
That's good.
Now that's highway robbery, man. They stole all of that hard work from those kids who put in all that time and blood and sweat and everything else. That's ridiculous to me.
Now
Like,
Georgia's playing Florida State. What? Georgia's playing Florida State. Oh, Oregon's playing or Oregon's playing Ohio State, I think it is.
I don't
Ohio
know.
State playing. I forgot who Ohio State's playing. Oh, Ohio State might be playing Georgia. I don't
So
know.
who in you guys' opinion is gonna be the last two, and who's gonna be the last one standing?
I'll let you go first. I got my opinion.
yeah, I don't know.
Bro,
I,
I don't know. I like Washington.
This is what I think is going to happen. I think it's going to be Michigan versus Washington.
Yeah, oh, there you go.
I'm hoping Michigan wins. If it's Michigan versus Washington, I'm just letting y'all know I'm in Houston. I'm watching the game. I'm going back to Houston. I'm watching the game. I'm just letting you know. If Michigan makes it to the finals, I'm out. Don't call me. You know how you said survivor's guilt? I'm gonna spend all my survivor money at the game. But um, but I do think with the way that the Pac-12 is no longer in existence, it would be literature to have a Pac-12 team win it this year on the very last year of Pac-12 conference existence.
mm.
I think that'd be interesting.
Mm.
Yeah, because Pac-12 only got what 2 teams left in there for next year while they try to rebuild.
Yeah, the only two teams left in the Pac-12 is Oregon State and Washington State.
Yeah.
I mean, well, while we're talking about the divisions, do you think the 12 is gonna be mighty again? Because
In what? In football?
in football, at least in football, because basketball, we okay in basketball, right?
Well, in basketball, we're gonna look real good, right? Because you got Houston in there, who I think is
Yeah,
gonna give
yeah,
Kansas a run for their money
yeah.
every year. You're bringing Arizona over to the Big 12, and you know Arizona is always a powerhouse in basketball. So
Okay.
you know Arizona State's coming to the Big 12, so that's gonna be basketball is gonna be really interesting with these teams. So you're gonna have
Yeah.
Cincinnati, Houston, Colorado's gonna be back in it. Football. Let me look at the Big 12. I gotta figure out football.
Wait
I
a
don't.
minute,
I
then
don't.
we're losing Texas, right? They going to the SEC, and who else is
Texas
going?
and Oklahoma.
Dang,
Yeah, Texas and Oklahoma going over there.
that's gonna be interesting there. Texas is gonna be able to rival Alabama in recruit. Watch.
Well, that's good for Texas because they're going to keep all that Texas talent in Texas,
Yeah.
right? So right now we got for in the team right now is West Virginia, UCF, Texas Tech, TCU, Oklahoma State, Kansas State, Kansas, Iowa State, Houston, Cincinnati, Baylor, BYU, Arizona State, Arizona, Utah. I think it's coming up to the Big
Yeah,
12.
Utah is sure.
That's going to be big for
Yeah,
football. So
Utah is.
yeah,
Arizona State is terrible at football. Is terrible, bro. Football
Arizona
wise.
State might be yeah, but I mean, but I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. I think the Big Ten's gonna be crazy too because they're getting Washington and Oregon for
Mm,
football, so
mm,
that's gonna be crazy too. So
mm. That that's gonna be. I can't. Man, that's my season, bro. I love football season, dog. You know, there was something else that you guys were that was kind of intriguing to me, man. Just kind of segue a little bit because I need to hurry up and get to it because it's intriguing to me. The 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 thing about Central America being the it country, dog.
oh.
Explain that. Why are we moving to Central America?
Well, I just I had a chance. Me and the wife we had a chance to do a vacation in Costa Rica, um, and you know as I go to any we spent 2 weeks out there and had a nice little time and everything like that. And as I do, I always want to know where I'm taking the fam, especially where they're going overseas. So I did my research on Costa Rica, and I just saw that there's a lot of things as far as one of the rated top countries for Black families to move to.
Wow.
because it has the Afro Latino culture. It's very diverse in the representation and the diaspora of the Afro Latino communities and culture. Cost of living is really cheap. It's tropical. It's got year round good weather. I mean, they have their rainy season and stuff. Crime is relatively low. Um, you can do a lot of different startups down there, and it's just chill. You got a lot of great things in there. Same thing with Panama. I see a lot of people going to Colombia as well. Um, you got certain parts of Colombia, obviously because of the cartels, but
Yeah.
um, yeah, it just when you look at the research on it, man, it just looks like there's a lot happening within Costa Rica, man, as far as you know moving out there. I just typed in Costa Rica and Black families. Top five hotspots for Black travelers. Beautiful town of Costa Rica. Why are so many Black Americans moving to Costa Rica? It's just
Wow.
it's nice, man. It's chill. It's a chill vibe. It's really easy to. It's affordable. You can still work remotely. A lot. And what I think how it got its shine is during the pandemic when people
Mm.
are out there and they had to stay out there for a long period of time. Because you couldn't come back to the country because of the pandemic. So they just had to like make their way, and they found out it was like easy to make their way out there, right? Still
Wow.
convert your money, get a bank account, convert your money over and stuff like that.
Bro,
So,
how are they able to keep the crime low?
well, I think when you don't criminalize someone's identity as being evil, so when no longer black skin is looked at as just being evil, and it's just part of the culture, and there's so much
Uh,
diverse representation,
uh,
all things become equal, and so I think, and you got to remember, outside of America, most of these other countries, especially in Central America, they're very island time and like quality of life driven. They're not, America as a superpower is one of the most work driven economies in the world, number one. And Americans lose more vacation time unused than any other developed country. Like we overwork ourselves, right? So when you get to go to a spot to where there's a sense of belonging, you see your actual identity in prominence there, being successful. You see that the quality of life is like enjoy life, enjoy your family, enjoy relationship time. It's easy to get around. You got the jungles and stuff, but it's just chill, and no one's being racist to you because your skin
wow.
color is the predominant color out there, but it's just
Uh,
got that Latino piece to it.
yeah.
I like it,
So
man.
just in your opinion, are people moving out there more like remote, or are they moving out there because there's actually an economy that's out there that they can
I
maybe
think
lean on
both.
the top?
I think both. I think about like, so me and the wife got to go to Costa Rica for 2 weeks, Belize for a week, and then I went to Puerto Rico for work. And they're very similar as far as how you maneuver and navigate. And I think with all of them, having American money and having that worker's mindset, you can probably go out there and start a lot of things for cheap and then let that circulate money and revenue for you. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm looking at trying to figure out. Me and the wife was talking about. I'm trying to either get a summer home in one of those two locations, Puerto Rico or Costa Rica, right? Because I'm starting to realize I think it's more important for my kids to be exposed to that type of culture than me
Yeah.
spending a bunch of money on the sports, right?
Oh,
Because I need to get them out to where they can have a dual passport. They know how to navigate. They can be bilingual. They can get in and out. They just see their culture in a different light, and then that gives them a better appreciation when they come back to the states to do school and stuff, right?
that's good.
Um,
That's good.
so I'm looking at that. But yeah, there's a lot of people I know who just work out there, right? And they still work for American companies, especially with telecommute being more popular. So now you don't have to leave; you can still get American paycheck, convert it, and get double. So think about that, man, right? So let's just say for simple math, you make 50,000 a year. That's almost equivalent to 100,000 out there, right? Because of the exchange rate. So you're working for an American company. You still pay your taxes, but you getting all this money here to spend and thrive on. It's not that simple, but just to kind of give it in simple terms, that seems appealing, man. So I mean, but again, I want to preface this for the audience. I've only been out there once, to all these countries just once. I do want to go out there again. with a different mindset, more like I went out there for vacation. So obviously you're doing the touristy and stuff like that. The next time I go out there, it'll be more like a business mindset, like where can I make investments? What do neighborhoods look like? How do I get around? Things like that.
Wow. Bro, that's phenomenal. I'm a research Costa Rica for sure. I have been indirectly looking at Puerto Rico too, and I've talked to people from Puerto Rico and just trying to understand uh navigation, and of course you talk about food and that kind of stuff, but the thought of having a another residence, another place, bro, I think is it amazes me, man, because especially when you grow urban and you barely have the house you had, you know what I'm saying? And better now you. This is why I love these kind of conversations, bro, because we're able to like to talk bigger than bigger than even if in our personal space we doing well, but we talk bigger, and that helps my mind to grow, and it helps me again to not have that survivor's guilt because I'm like, bro, other people can have these conversations too if they, you know what I'm saying, be a part of this stuff. And when we talk, this is the whole purpose of doing this podcast is to invite people to these type of conversations. You don't have to be in your closed mindedness. You don't have to be isolated. This is what Educate You podcast is all about, bro. So I'm glad we talking about that. Which segues us into this final thing, Rick. This new segment, the word of the week.
Yeah.
Give us the
I'm
word.
excited. Yeah, man. Look, so it was on my heart, and me and the wife was talking about this a couple of days ago, and this word inheritance was just stuck on me. Inheritance, and you know, I was meditating on the word, and I think a lot of us think about inheritance just strictly through finance, right? And as I was starting to meditate on, I went to the Psalms. I think it's like 13 and 22, something like that, that talked about a good man who leaves an inheritance for his children's children. And then I started thinking about the spiritual side of it, the word inheritance, and not necessarily always just money, right? It could be teachings, it could be practices, things like that that you leave. And like, I'll think about the inheritance of redemption that was left through the blood, right? That was an inheritance we received. That wasn't money. It was an inheritance of salvation, right? And so for me, I think the word of the week is inheritance, man. To think about what DNA constructs are you implementing into your kids so that it carries on for multiple generations? They might, 5 generations from now, our grandkids ain't gonna know our names. Our great grandkids, they ain't gonna know our names. Wow. But they can look at this video and hear like, oh dang, my great grandfather talked about inheritance and having discipline and stuff like that, right? And so it doesn't always have to be money. It could be a message. It could be a practice. It could be a heart set. It could be understanding things that are beyond just money, right? And so for me, I just want people to think about what are they inheriting or preparing for an inheritance for the generations after them. And it doesn't have to be money.
Yeah. So for me, there's a positive in there. There's a negative in that space. So especially when I'm talking to students who are trying to figure out what they want to do, that's one of the questions I asked them. Right? Like I asked you, like, what are you passionate about? But I also asked them, what did you inherit from your family? Right? I don't think that it's an accident or an incident that people who are lawyers have kids who are lawyers. People who are doctors have kids who are doctors. People who work in education have kids who are in education because they grow up hearing it. They're in that environment. It's something that they inherit, or they inherit singing or drawing or some type of talent or gift in that space. But the other side of it is what is it called? Post-traumatic slave syndrome, and how much we have inherited that way as well. Or what we call generational curses, right? Like drinking in family or whatever the case may be. So yeah, I feel like there's a negative and a positive in there. It just really depends on which one you focus on. And I feel you, because for me, it's like, what legacy do I leave for my kids? And that speaks exactly to that. What are they going to inherit? Be it wisdom, money, property, whatever the case may be. But what am I going to leave them with so they can move further than I went?
bro. That's amazing. I think about inheritance too. I think about uh of course the material stuff, man, but like you guys were saying, like we leave like just when I was younger, bro. We were getting like these horror stories about life, and that was being passed on. I'm glad we're able to transition to the point where we educate ourselves enough to know the balance and the difference between what we told and what really is, so inheritance can become so much bigger for the people we leave behind, man. So we can do it. I love the fact that you guys are educators. And I was telling somebody before, I was like, man, it's a difference between talking to somebody and giving somebody instructions. Like you talking to somebody, you feed them, but you give them instructions. You teach them how to feed themselves. And inheritance becomes this thing that begins, but it doesn't end. So you teach them in a way where it trickles to the next generation. Like Ricky was saying, they may not know who we are, but they can go back to this particular video and like, man, my grandfathers already laid the foundation. Now I see where I got it from, and blah, and it's amazing to me, bro. In 30 seconds, each one of y'all got leave us out on a high note, fellas. Either one go first.
And then we just do that.
Was good, but I'm like, okay, give me a little bit more, man.
I'll go. I'll go. What's on my
Read it,
heart?
man.
Number one is I want to reemphasize what we said in the beginning. I have no survivor's guilt whatsoever. I want to reemphasize that, but I will say this for my 30 seconds. Friends are like stars; they only shine bright during your darkest moments.
Say it one more time. One more time.
Friends are like stars; they only shine bright during your darkest moments. I heard that somewhere, and I just want to share that. I think that's dope.
Mm. Now I feel like last time. I feel like I should have went first. uh, man. Well, I guess there's some of the stuff that we talked about today. Like whatever you want in life, just go after it and get it. At the end of the day, um, the biggest obstacle most of the time that's standing in your way is yourself. It's fear. Get past fear and get to the other side.
There you have it. You've been listening to Educate You podcast, being brought to you by My College Draft, where education is the new money. Get some.